The anime begins with Okumura-ren at his school, where he is seen reading a beginner's guide to spirit hunting. Okumura talks about spirit hunters, who are monks capable of exorcising demons that possess people and objects. Spirit hunters belong to the True Cross organization, but as most people do not believe in demons, they view spirit hunters as faith healers or advisors. Okumura, initially a non-believer, becomes intrigued after seeing a spirit and decides to pursue spirit hunting. After reading the book, the teacher calls on the students, and Okumura is surprised to see a malevolent spirit in the classroom. He is shocked when his friend, Gudayan, is terrified by the spirit. Okumura thought he was the only one who could see these terrifying spirits, but he discovers that Gudayan can see them too. After school, Gudayan shares his fear, and Okumura realizes that Gudayan might have been affected by demonic forces. Okumura, hesitant but determined, reveals that he is a trainee spirit hunter and asks Gudayan to inform him if anything unusual happens. Grateful for Okumura's help, Gudayan expresses his appreciation, making Okumura feel embarrassed. Okumura then asks Gudayan to let him know if anything happens and leaves for home, happy to have a friend from the same class. The next day, Okumura goes to school and stands by his locker to retrieve his books. His friends approach him, and one of them hands him a letter from a girl, making it seem like a love letter. Okumura is pleasantly surprised, thinking he has a secret admirer. However, his mood changes when he discovers that the letter is from Mephisto. He becomes furious and opens the letter, finding out that the execution sentence from the Vatican has been postponed. Confused by Mephisto's words, Okumura recalls that Gudayan used his blue flames in Kyoto, leading to a death sentence, but now the execution has been delayed. Mephisto invites Okumura to a party that night to celebrate the postponement and requests him to attend in formal attire at 6 p.m. Okumura is urged by his friends to focus on his studies. Suddenly, everyone hears a loud noise, and they rush to see what's happening. They find Gudayan on the ground, trying to crawl away from something unseen. Okumura approaches him and sees the malevolent spirit. Gudayan asks for Okumura's help, and Okumura, using his blue flames, scares the spirit away. Gudayan is relieved, but he is still terrified by the encounter with the spirits. During the break, Okumura sits with his friends in the school courtyard to have lunch. He asks if they know any way to prevent someone from seeing demons. One of his friends explains that usually, the connection formed by demonic harm cannot be severed. Okumura mentions that Gudayan hasn't suffered any injury from demons, and he is a good person who wants to befriend him. Later, during lunch, Izumo passes by them, and Okumura calls her to ask if she knows a way to stop seeing demons. Izumo gets angry, asking him how he expects her to know such things. Okumura decides to ask Yukio or Shura at their special school. After that, we shift to a scene with a girl named Shimi and her mother. Shimi's mother informs her that she is going out and asks Shimi to take care of the store after finishing her meal. Shimi agrees, and her mother advises her to focus on her studies during this time. Shimi responds that she will ask Yukio to study for her again soon. Next, we return to Yukio at the special school, where he meets Shura. She senses that he has been very busy lately and mentions the increased calls to the True Cross organization's helpline. Shura expresses a strong negative feeling about the organization, and Yukio recalls avoiding his annual checkup. When Shura asks about the checkup, Yukio says he has been too busy and asks Yukio to undergo the examination since the medical engineering department is very annoying. Following that, we move to the True Cross Academy, where Mephisto is present. Okumura arrives at the designated time to inquire about a method to prevent people from seeing demons. Mephisto, sitting on the ground, suddenly transforms his appearance from an ugly sight to a more devilish form. They find themselves in a dark and frightening place, leaving Okumura terrified. Mephisto introduces himself with a name he adopted in the last 200 years in Asia, claiming to be the second most powerful person in the demon world. Okumura is shocked to learn that Mephisto is a demon and questions him about the Dark Realm. Mephisto reveals it as the demon world and explains that he used Okumura's blue flame power to briefly transport their minds there for 5 minutes. He then clarifies that he is not their enemy, as he loves humans and has no intention of harming Okumura. Okumura, still in disbelief, attempts to attack Mephisto with his blue flames. However, Mephisto assures him that he is the master of time and space and that what he did was simply a temporary transfer of consciousness. He emphasizes that he is not a threat to Okumura and expresses his fondness for humans. The scene ends with Okumura processing this revelation about Mephisto being a demon and his unexpected connection to the demon world. Enraged by this revelation, Okumura attempts to attack Mephisto, but he misses the target. Mephisto then forcefully grabs Okumura's tail, causing him to scream in pain. Mephisto informs Okumura that the demon's tail is its weakness, and the other weakness is its heart. He distances himself, surprising Okumura by taking his sword. Mephisto explains that he took the sword after freezing time and sealed Okumura's demonic heart within it. He reveals that a demon's heart is its most valuable source of power. Mephisto shares that most demons hide their tails and hearts, a demonic trait known as demonic concealment, but he recognizes Okumura's willingness to reveal them openly. Afterward, Mephisto throws Okumura to the ground with a powerful strike, stating that he acknowledges Okumura for gaining significant awareness since learning about being Satan's son. However, he urges Okumura to consider his current situation, as resorting to using Akazuma to defeat the Demon King led to his current predicament. As the 5 minutes elapse, the setting returns to normal, and Okumura finds himself sitting at Mephisto's table. Mephisto then presents a small bottle containing eye drops, explaining that they prevent anyone who uses them from seeing any demons. Okumura is astonished and realizes that Mephisto knows he was searching for a way to help his friend Gudeon. Mephisto, however, refuses to give him anything before completing a task he will assign, hinting at the growing threat to Asia and what is happening to Gudeon. Okumura then returns home with his brother Yukio, asking Yukio to respond promptly to any messages to avoid worrying about him. Yukio apologizes for being busy, explaining the overwhelming number of calls to the True Cross organization's helpline. The brothers discuss the challenges they face, emphasizing the urgency of the situation in Asia and the concerns about Gudeon. Okumura understands that there are many cases similar to Gudeon's, and he must complete Mephisto's task to obtain the eye drops for Gudeon's sake. He is instructed to deliver the drops to anyone who contacts him. Yukio remains unresponsive, and Okumura leaves after finishing his meal. Okumura senses that his brother is hiding something from him, but Yukio denies it. The following day, Okumura's friends at school notice a small cat, and Izumo finds it cute. However, the cat suddenly transforms into Mephisto, surprising everyone. Mephisto, in his human form, frightens the girl who had taken the cat. He thanks them for their continuous efforts and announces a special extracurricular lesson. Mephisto instructs them to fight demons lurking in the academy, stating that he will observe but not interfere. The students are puzzled but agree to work together. Later, a girl takes the small cat, but it transforms into the malevolent Felice. She asks why Felice is in such a place, and he expresses gratitude for their efforts. Felice announces a special lesson outside the curriculum and reveals a family portrait that used to be part of his group. However, it became dangerously infused with psychological pain, making regular exorcism ineffective. Felice instructs the students to analyze the enemy, but Okumura questions why the portrait appears as a family picture when it only represents one woman. His friend suggests destroying it, but Okumura suddenly breaks the image. The scenery changes abruptly, and Okumura finds himself alone in a different environment. In the new setting, Felice speaks to them again, mentioning the woman in the portrait and emphasizing the urgency of the situation. Okumura, determined to uncover the truth, expresses the need to finish the task quickly. The friends discuss their plan, with Kanekamaru suggesting the idea of cutting the portrait. Okumura agrees, and suddenly the environment shifts again. They find themselves facing the portrait, now shattered, and Felice commends their quick thinking. As the lesson continues, Felice reveals more details about the possessed portrait and urges the students to proceed cautiously. The mystery deepens as they navigate through this unusual challenge. Kankamaru's friends are afraid of him because he is the son of Satan, but Kankamaru takes him aside, saying, "We need to enter the barrier immediately." He then asks him about what happened, and Kankamaru replies, "Don't look back. Let's gather together and look at each other." He tells them that he is confident they have seen something, but they need to rely on strength. Kankamaru explains that it is a spirit taking over the painting, a shape-shifting demon that embodies the fears of humans who see it. The boy mentions that Okumura attacked, and his glasses were knocked off as a precaution. His weak vision was saved by the sight of the enemy. Kankamaru assures them that dealing with it will be easy now that they know what the enemy is. He then asks if they know 5 deadly verses that can defeat it. They notice small monsters on the barrier, and Kankamaru worries because the barrier won't last long. Bond speaks to him, saying his thinking is one-dimensional, with extensive knowledge of the area. He advises him not to always try so hard to lead them. Shima adds that if he doesn't improve, he will fail the qualifying Arya exam, suggesting he should give his best. Kamiki tells him she doesn't understand why he feels the need to distance himself but urges her to stop that habit during fights and to trust herself more. Moriyama is talented, just like everyone else, and Takara is not expected to be of any help, so there is no comment on him. Then Okumura asks Kanekamaru about their plan. Kanekamaru responds that they cannot rely on Okumura entirely, and it's time for him to become their winning card. He emphasizes that Okumura should be the support and a weapon they unleash at the right moment. Kanekamaru instructs them to leave the planning to him and trust that he'll handle things. Addressing Moriyama, he asks her to produce a barberry plant, and they will use it for a wake-up spell. Bond performs the spell on all of them, allowing them to see the shape-shifting demon safely. The monstrous creature looms large, and Kanekamaru warns that the barrier won't last long. He then informs them that the spell will be cancelled if Bond dies, urging them to protect him from the small demons. Kamiki expresses their necessity for this task, and Moriyama is asked if she can create a barrier using Tonghu tree. She confirms and casts the spell on Bond. Kamiki adds a purification ritual on the shapeshifter, apologizing for any regrets that might follow. However, the shapeshifter returns unharmed, surprising everyone. As they battle the small demons, Kanekamaru reflects on why Kamiki referred to it as a family painting. Finally understanding, he reveals that there are 3 paintings with the same frame and consults with Kamiki about using all of them as a set. Kamiki strikes him, but nothing happens. Kanekamaru then instructs Kamiki and the two white foxes on the painting in the upper right to coordinate, and Okumura, Shiremi, and the one in the front center to synchronize their attacks. Okumura states that it's finally time for him to move, and they join forces to strike the paintings collaboratively. The scene then shifts to a place on the right, where a boy exclaims, "Revive Princess Lightning." His friend responds, saying, "Have you heard? The one who defeated the Demon King in Japan among all others was Satan's son. Now it's time to show my power as a holy knight to protect people from demons." The boy seems very excited, striking his sword on the ground, causing an explosion in the palace. However, he falls to the ground and transforms into a demon, proclaiming that everything will be in perfect harmony, and the day is approaching when humans will open their eyes, and demons will burst forth. Afterward, Okumura gives drops to his friend, preventing him from seeing demons. The friend, noticing Okumura's tale, expresses fear, and Okumura confirms that he is half demon. Despite the fear, the friend feels fortunate to be surrounded by wonderful people, and Okumura leaves. Okumura reflects on how making friends is extremely challenging. The scene transitions to Okumura's friends waiting for him, expressing concern. They all go to have a meal together, visibly happy. The focus then shifts to Felice, who mentions that Asia is under constant threat from demon invaders. Those fighting on the front lines were known as Exorcists, but the borders have become unclear, and it's time to move to the next phase.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.